So, a former ISIS fighter turned dictator. And before anybody says he wasn't democratically elected, so that's what he is as far as I'm concerned. Somebody who gets into power without a single vote being made for them, that's a dictator. Simple as that. Came to the UK. And what does our Prime Minister and our King do? Roll out the fucking red carpet for the prick. So the first thing that's wrong with that is it literally is the latest in a long line of escapades where our Prime Minister and our King part their arse cheeks to waiting to receive the love of Islam. And we all know somebody who literally likes to part their arse cheeks and receive foreign men. We're looking at you, you four-eyed fuck. And obviously, no offence to anybody watching this while wearing glasses. My reference was to you-know-who. And then key all the Muslim MPs who now have posted online about how it's great for world unity, great for Islam, great for the Ummah, and all that kind of jazz. Imagine if they had enough passion and energy to condemn the violence that just happened recently in Derby. Because fuck all of them did it, apart from the MPs who actually live in that constituency. And they probably did it because they were fucking forced. So, fuck them all. At a time when our house prices are unachievable to our young and people that are not even on the property ladder or working average jobs. At a time when our bills are going sky high, fucking cost you a couple of £100 just to fill your tank. They're literally waiting to appease and give money to Islamic countries that are run by dictatorships. Nigeria was a prime example with the hundreds of millions they got and gave it to fund ports, whatever it was. And now that dickhead from Syria has come here to make his demands. And more than likely, our government, that's apparently broke and is spending hundreds of millions of pounds a day on debt, are going to hand it to him. And let's say, for argument's sake, all that stuff that I just said was non-existent. And let's look at it for what it is of the Syrian dictator / president coming to this country to create diplomatic ties with England. Well, let's have a look at the state of Syria. So, he gets in under no vote of his own. He's a former fighter. And I will say this. People can change. People can reform. However, the first part of that I would turn around and say, if you're a man that has been strongly suspected and there's supposedly evidence floating around, I haven't really seen that yet, but I'll come on to another person later, that this man actively participated in executions and held up heads. Like I say, on that one, I haven't seen the hardcore evidence of that, but the stories that I've seen and the papers that are doing the rounds basically turn around and say that it's true. But even still, he was a fighter for a group that was the most brutal terrorist group that we've seen in our lifetime. And he was participating in it. And they think that that man is fit to then go on to run a country. Not a chance. Not a chance. Maybe there'll be place for him in reformed charities or in some form of community leader. But running the country, fuck no. No chance. But then let's look at what he did when he gets in government. He elects 2/3 of his 210-member parliament off his own accord. So basically, 210 of his own friends. Not a single one of them is a woman that he didn't elect. So, at a time when women are literally busting their asses, making the flipping country run, they're taking all the jobs that the men did, pretty much like our women did in the UK in the 20s and the 40s, when the men were getting killed, locked up, were fighting. They were keeping things going. And none of them got elected. None of them got brought into government by him. The Justice Minister one of his very close friends was somebody who actively and is known to have taken part in executions. And he laughed and joked about it. He literally was in the videos laughing and joking, cutting people's heads off. And he is the Justice Minister. So somebody who deals out punishment, law and order, that's the guy that he's put in charge. What the fuck is that all about? So, again, it just reeks of shit. It reeks of stuff. And all this history, look at the history. Our Prime Minister, our government and our King have learnt fuck all. Look at the likes of Gaddafi. Look at the likes of Assad. Look at the likes of Saddam Hussein, Idi Amin. All these people that were put in power and helped to power by the Western governments, and they turned out to be sadistic, murderous dictators. And this way, it looks like it's going the same way. Because I'll tell you, I'll come on to something in a minute. But then let's have a look at the democratically elected MPs. So they started overwhelmingly to support women. There were 6 women that were voted in as MPs from the small amount of elections that they had. So what did they do? They started to block the votes, and they've blocked the votes for 70 provinces in Syria. So that could have been 70 more women. I'm not going to be one of them that's turning around and say, yeah, we need equal amounts of women and men. As far as I'm concerned, in any government, we need the right people for the job. They could all be women, all be men, all be aliens for all I care. I don't give a shit. It's the people that for the job. But however, when you are literally in a dictatorship and in a country where women have been treated like garbage for flipping decades, women that actively took part in the revolution to save their country, now they're being pushed aside. And in a lot of these places where the president isn't getting involved, they're being blocked from going to school, they're being forced to wear hijabs. So that's the thanks that their country's now giving them. It's just going to turn into another Afghanistan. It literally will turn into another Afghanistan. Because in all 70 of those provinces where they've not had elections, there were strong suspicions that a lot of them, they would have voted for women. And they blocked it. Because all these religious clergies have turned around and said, yeah, we need to debate this. So they froze the debate. So not only is he a piece of shit, our government are all pieces of shit, our king is a piece of shit, they're all colluding it together. And who do you think set this business deal up? Who do you think set this all up? I bet you China was behind it. Because China have got more skin in the game than everybody else. They've been trying to get their claws into England. They've been getting their claws into the Middle East. They've been getting claws into the Maldives and the Chagos Islands. They are literally getting their claws into everything. And we're just allowing them to do it. And you know what the sad reality is? When all these people realise that these cousin fuckers with low IQs can't fucking create a government, can't create an economy, it'll all be a shithole. People will start starving to death. People will have no money. Where do you think all the men are going to go? They're going to get on them fucking trucks, and they're going to get on them boats, and then they're going to come here. Then they're going to start killing our women because they don't like women. They're going to start taking over because they want Sharia law. And it's all just going to be one single cycle of shit. And we need a strong government. We need a strong answer to all this bollocks. What should have happened? Yeah, right, got a call here. Yeah, Mr. Prime Minister, you got a call from the President of Syria. Fuck off, not interested. Sort your fucking country out. Be democratically elected. Fucking show that you can have gay rights in your country. Show that women can have the vote and can be put in positions of parliament and positions of power. Don't put fucking justice ministers that have been cutting people's heads off and putting them on flipping Al Jazeera TV or whatever it is. Sorry about that. I'm literally raging on this one. But yeah, so come back to me when you've done all that shit. So I'll finish with this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Fuck the Prime Minister. He's a fucking prick. He's going to sell us out. He's going to destroy our country from within and without. He's a piece of shit. And fuck this king. Fuck him. He's a prick.